Welcome!
Y saludos, amigos!
Nuestra presentación, Revenge of the Pod, presented to you by the Room 303 Network. I am your host, Luigi, and this is my co-host,
Jason. What's up, everybody? Glad to have you back. We're back from hiatus. Had a lot of stuff going on, but we're ready for a good episode.
Yeah, start of the school year for me, so it's pretty hectic. This might not be the first, or I'm sorry, this might not be the last time that we do a couple weeks between episodes, but we want to get you guys as much stuff as possible. Let's get into this, though, Jason.
Hey, once we start getting paid for this, maybe, who knows?
That's true. That's true. You never know. But we are excited to have you with us today for another great show. Jason, what have you been up to? What you got going on, man?
So I just got back from a trip to California. Went to go see the Room 303 boys, Eric and Jermaine. Shout out to them. Nick doesn't live in California, but shout out Nick. We went to a show in LA to watch one of my favorite podcasts, Fantasy Footballers, because we're getting ready for the fantasy football season, baby. Football's almost here. It's around the corner. Start doing your mock drafts. Start getting ready to draft. So I'm excited about that. So got a nice little fun trip. Because I decided to take a trip because I started a new job, dude. Started officially Monday, the 28th. Yeah, I'm in the office doing all the training and stuff, but we'll be fully remote after that. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Nice. I'm happy to hear that, man. That's awesome. Glad that you've got a new job. You got to take a cool trip. Yeah, that's dope, man.
What about you?
And I just got a couple things. I wanted to mention them. They're not new, but I did want to mention them. The Untold Stories of Johnny Manziel and then the Florida one with Swamp Kings. Pretty interesting watches. I really like all the Untold stuff. And I got Gabby to watch the Manti Te'o one.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, man. That what is it, Ronaya?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Every time I watch it, I'm like, God.
What a shitty person.
You're such a narcissist.
Well, yeah, and they tried to feel like a victim too in that episode too.
I don't know if they tried to feel like a victim. We've talked about
this. It sounded like that.
I'm sure they did, but the whole thing kind of puts it into perspective. Like, sure, we know why you did it, at least. Like, there's some kind of reasoning for you, but like, it still doesn't make it okay.
It's not okay. It's not okay.
Yeah. But so we watched those. The Johnny Manziel one is as expected. It's by the end of it, I was like, you did kind of get what you deserved. You let it off your head. And I'm currently about to finish Swamp Kings.
I heard Swamp Kings was kind of disappointing.
Why? What'd you hear about it?
Not enough Tebow, not enough about Aaron Hernandez, not enough about the Pouncey twins. They said that there's a lot that they missed.
Well, that's interesting. I'm enjoying it so far. I feel like there's a good amount of Tebow actually. And it still makes Urban Meyer not look super great. So I'm like, at least kind of sheds light on how he did it. He did some interesting things, as coaches do.
Yeah.
As coaches do, right? But his certain style was clearly shown not to work in every setting, including the NFL. So
yeah, that was hot garbage.
Yeah. So I watched those, and then I do have some news about the movie studios and their money that they're making and not giving to their writers or actors. But Barbie is now the #1 all-time movie for Warner Brothers. It surpassed Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. It has currently $1.34 billion earned worldwide. Oppenheimer is at $800 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Angel Studios, the studio that put out Sound of Freedom, actually has made enough money off of Sound of Freedom, which is now going to be releasing in a lot of international markets as well. They had a crowdfunding, like not GoFundMe, but they did like crowdfunding to actually market the movie, which is why you didn't see a lot of marketing for the film.
Because Angel Studios is very small studio. Yeah.
They're very small. So they actually had to ask people for money to do marketing campaigns, and they paid them back because of how much money they made. $5 million paid back to the crowdfunders, which is pretty cool.
That's cool. That's dope.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool story. Shout out to the studio for making from what I'm hearing, a great movie. At this point, guys, not gonna lie, I'm gonna wait for it to come out on streaming so I can rent or buy it. So I haven't seen it yet, but trust me, I am on my way to watching that as soon as I can. I also wanted to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man. Did you see that they pretty much greenlit the sequel and they're going to get a TV show that has all the voice actors in it, like the
Wow.
Turtles?
That's freaking cool. Bring back Mondo Gecko.
Yeah. They should, right? They should. That'd be dope. That'd be dope. A little bit more box office stuff. So apparently, I saw a trend in, I think it was a Screen Rant article that talked about, it wasn't exactly talking about this, but it makes a mention of how established franchises did not quite live up to expectations in the box office this summer. Original stuff did pretty damn well. And we're looking at Barbie, and yes, it's IP, but it doesn't have a serious background in theaters. Then we're looking at an Oppenheimer. That is not franchise. I would say Ninja Turtles is definitely franchise, but it was
definitely franchise
out of the pattern that we're seeing, because Indiana Jones underperformed, Transformers underperformed, The Flash underperformed, Fast 10, Mission Impossible, all these movies underperformed. And movies like Elemental, although they had to like climb back, they did do well, and these were original stories. So I hope Hollywood is not ignoring the fact that these original stories are doing just as well as franchises, and we don't just see franchise movies.
Yeah, kind of happy to hear that.
Right.
Although you know, some of these movies I was excited to see, and I haven't seen a lot of them. So yeah, but
it feeds into the point, right?
Yeah,
we were more excited about other things that we went to the theater to go see, as opposed to these franchises.
Right.
And I'm not saying that these franchises are bad or anything. They just underperformed. Audiences don't want to see the same thing over and over.
Like, honestly, man, I don't want to see another Fast whatever.
I think 10 is supposed to be the last one, right? That was it? It's over?
Who knows? Maybe since it underperformed, maybe. But if it keeps making money, then
spin-offs. But the Fast and Furious should be done. At least in my opinion.
Hopefully.
I hate to beat a dead horse too, but you know, we were talking about superhero movies going the way of the Western.
Right.
So the other day I was thinking about it, and the Western film had a bit of a renaissance. I think it was in the early 70s with the Fistful of Dollars trilogy, which is a fistful of dollars, a fistful more. And then there's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And they all serve as prequels to each other, but that's neither here nor there. It's a trilogy of movies that brought, they're the spaghetti westerns that brought westerns back to the forefront, and people, again, got excited about them. And I was just thinking in my head, like, we kind of need that right now for superhero movies. And I'm thinking, I would say Spider-Verse could probably be the best example of that with its good storytelling. Especially because we're seeing animated movies really make they're making a run right now. Some of the best movies this year have been the animated films. So I was just wondering what you thought about, like, whether or not we could get like a certain trilogy or movie that kind of just like brings back the excitement for all these superhero films, and what you think it might be.
Well, I mean, like you said, the animation movies, for example, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Spider-Man, those were awesome, dude. So I mean, again, it's my problem. I'm still gonna keep watching those superhero movies, but
I'm a fan.
I mean, there's still some good westerns that came out in the '90s and even in the 2000s, you know. So I don't think it's ever gonna go away.
No, not fully. No, there's no.
It's like there's going to be like so many of them being pumped out at once. Like they may take a break and be like, all right, we need to slow it down and actually make them quality versus quantity. And I think that's where we're at right now, is quantity.
Yeah, hopefully we get into that quality stage and we get a steady release of these films, and they don't have to be pumped out and we don't get subpar stuff with partial storytelling or terrible CGI. So I'm
One
hoping
thing,
Spider Verse kind of is that. Like, if that third movie just blows away everyone, oh man, that'd be great for me because I'm a big
I mean,
Spider.
especially how they left us in that cliffhanger. I don't see how it's not gonna crush box office. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's the thing. It's hard to make the same kind of money with animation for some reason. I don't know. I don't know if it's just like adults are anti-animation.
Shrek, I don't know.
Huh?
Shrek,
I love
yeah,
Shrek, but when you look at the movies that made the most money, it's not always. I think it's there are very few animation movies that are in the top
that is
30.
true. I think older adults that not maybe a little bit over like millennials, like above us, like they're like, oh, a cartoon movie, like what?
Well, that's for kids.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I get it, but that's kind of not the case anymore,
it
right?
is.
We're seeing a lot of animation aimed at adults, not just in shows, but even the Spider Verse movie had elements that are like a little more highbrow than just
Right.
a kids movie. But all right, I just wanted to see what you thought of that. And last but not least, reminder everybody: Beetlejuice, September next year. It's getting to be Halloween time, so I just got to remind you guys of the important film that will be.
Next year.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
excited, man. I'm keeping up with the news. September 6th is on my calendar.
that's hilarious. Up next year, guys, not to be mistaken, a couple
Yes,
days
next
from
year,
now. Yeah.
2024. Jason, you had a little bit of information for me. What you got on the docket for us?
Yeah, something that's coming about a little bit sooner than next year. Rick and Morty season 7 is set to release this year, March 15th,
October.
October 15th. I'm sorry. Still haven't finished season 6. I need to finish watching that. One of my favorite cartoons, and I don't know why I stopped watching it for no apparent reason. It's just one of those where you're just like watching it and then just like, oh shit, I need to go back and watch that. So
Speaking of adult animation, right?
yeah, and I'm kind of interested. Did Justin Roiland voice for season 7 because he got let go? So did they find another voice actor for this? Are they using AI? Because
I
Justin
don't know.
Roiland,
I don't know if it was you or someone else that told me that
they brought him back.
fun at the fact that someone else is voicing some of those characters. I don't know how they do it in the show, but apparently they're gonna poke fun at it. So I guess he may not be back voicing for this season.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think I mean if you watch Rick and Morty, like they can definitely make fun of that. Like they break the fourth wall a lot, and so it's just and the it's crazy because he voices a lot of the characters. Um, but I mean I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And but I am excited for that. Um, in other news, Miles Martinet, the voice of Mario, the classic Mario that we've known since I think Nintendo 64 that he's voiced. He's officially retiring, so we're going to get a new Mario voice for the future games or something, or could be AI. I have no idea.
Oh God, I hope not.
I mean, it's just for like video games. Woohoo! I don't know, dude. You can find someone to.
Probably just use previous recordings, right?
Yeah, that's true. It could definitely do that. I mean, there's not that much talking in the games and stuff. And then we got Chris Pratt, voicing the movies. So but yeah, hey, thank you to a legend. You know what I mean? Some bad news. Dune Part 2 got pushed back to March 15th of 2024. It was supposed to come out.
Jason, here's the thing. They pushed it back for me so that I could watch it on my birthday. That was we talked about it, So
Yeah, but November 3rd it was supposed to come out this year, November 3rd, and they're pushing it back all the way back to March. Like that sucks, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was for my birthday, so.
Okay, yeah. They give us a trailer already. Like the trailer's already out in movie theaters. Like, what the fuck, dude? You know what I mean?
Dude, that trailer looks fantastic.
It does look sick. I'm like, come on, it's already ready. Just fucking release it, man. What's going on?
Gabby saw it and she's like, "That does look pretty good." And I was like, "I know, right? That looks fucking great."
And lastly, I'm gonna end it with some good news before we head on to our trailers and stuff. We got Funko Pop is actually introducing pop yourself. You can create you can now create a Funko Pop to look like you.
That's pretty sick.
So
That's pretty sick.
I don't know if I want an ugly little Funko Pop.
Everything.
What? Yeah, that'd be cool.
Come in with your name on it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll get the get the receding hairline or my gray hairs. You know what I'm saying?
As one does.
Yeah.
All right, but let's get into our trailers. I've got a little bit of news for you on this. So we're running into the theater. We're catching these trailers. First one, it's coming out May 2024. This is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's already in post-production, man. It is going to be different from the trilogy that we not grew up with, but we saw in our, teen and early 20s years.
Yeah, that was a great trilogy.
God, I think Matt Reeves did them. The same director who's doing the Batman with Robert Pattinson. He did all three of those movies. I thought they were fantastic. I thought the CGI was great. Andy Serkis as Caesar was fantastic.
It was awesome.
Although this one is not going to have Caesar, from what I understand. It's going to be different ape societies who interpret his teachings differently, kind of like the teachings of Jesus, right? How different societies interpret them differently. So it sounds like they're going to be warring factions. Matt Reeves is no longer involved, but it says they are saying that it fulfills the vision that he had for the franchise. So although this isn't part of the original trilogy, it sounds like it's still in the same vein and style. So we'll see if that's true. This is what I'm hearing. This is straight from a Screen Rant article. That's essentially the Kingdom Planet of the Apes story, as the 2024 movie sees several ape societies that interpret Caesar's teachings differently, as I mentioned, with certain groups of apes twisting Caesar's schooling to fit their agendas and enslaving other apes. In the Planet of the Apes world, humans have almost become extinct, meaning that humans are no longer the enemy or a threat to apes. However, there are different tribes of apes and ones that don't take kindly to the more advanced and skilled apes that learned under Caesar's order. So there are some that do not like the more advanced apes who had higher learning, more skill. They actually hate them for some reason. So I'd love to see why. The upcoming release is going to explore the animosity between these colonies, which is the very idea that Reeves conceived. So I'm pretty excited because I love.
Sounds fucking sick.
Right. Like I'm pretty hyped. Reading that, I was like, oh, intrigue. You know what I mean? So I'm ready for it. I don't know if you were a fan of those movies, but I really liked them.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I wanted one of the best trilogies. If you really think about it, I'm not saying it's the best, guys. Chill out. But I'm talking from like beginning, like every single movie, fucking flawless. Yeah, you can't say anything bad about it.
Yeah, I would be like, yeah, it's one of the best trilogies I've watched overall. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, overall, yeah, exactly. Like, because Godfather 2, Godfather 3, like I think Godfather 3 is trash or something.
Yeah, I was about to mention that.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, you can say what you want. This trilogy is pretty dope.
So I'm like, yeah, I mean, maybe Godfather 1 and 2 are better than Planet of the Apes, but at least all three of these movies were good.
Yeah. So that's dope, man. I like that news. That's a good trailer right there.
Absolutely. I've also got coming out this September 6th. I Am Groot season 2, man. Only 15 minutes of content, but at least we're getting some.
Hell yeah! The first what? There was like 6 of them.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Very short, 4-minute videos, 5-minute videos.
It's like it's like little skits of baby Groot. Yeah, Groot doing Groot things, bro. You know,
baby Groot being cute.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm excited. Last piece of news for me is so Scorsese and DiCaprio are actually going to work on another film after Killers of the Flower Moon, releasing October 20th, through Apple Pictures, and it's going to be a period piece.
I thought this was Scorsese's last film.
From the reports that I'm seeing, he's involved in some way. Maybe he's not going to direct. I don't know, but he could very well be in production, and DiCaprio is still on it. And it is the same guy that wrote the the same historical writer that wrote Killers of the Flower Moon, because this is also a true story about a 1740s shipwreck. It's called The Wager, and it's titled The Wager, a story of shipwreck, mutiny, and murder. And it's actually two different shipwrecks that happen, one on the coast of Brazil and then Chile. Somehow I don't know how it is, but it sounds like somehow they meet each other, the surviving members. And I want to hear the rest of this story because I'm like, interesting. So there's mutiny, there's a shipwreck, they're stuck in the 1740s. That means South America still had quite a bit of land that was unexplored. So that's definitely something I would be interested in seeing, even if it's through the eyes of, I guess it would be naval captains and soldiers.
Yeah, I was in a good part of the Amazon not explored still. Like
Yeah.
there's a huge percent that they haven't explored yet because it's just
Well, I don't know if they haven't explored it, but I know that they don't go to it because there are parts of the Amazon
too dangerous.
Well, they have tribes that are undisturbed by
Oh, gotcha.
the world. Like, have you ever seen those photos of like when drones pass over?
Yeah, and those things, the tribes are just
like freaking out. You know, you're like, they must think that something crazy's going on, unless they know we're here, right? Maybe they're like, oh,
nah, I don't know.
In the outside world, I don't know.
It is.
It's like the island of Sentry. What is it off the coast of India? But yeah,
no idea, bro.
But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see this project. I'm a sucker for period pieces, so I'm interested. DiCaprio, Scorsese, say less.
Hell yeah, dude. That sounds dope.
All right, so let's jump into TV land, Jason.
All right.
Sir, I know you've seen some things.
Yeah. I'll kick it off. So we started, Jamie and I, we actually saw the whole thing. It's available on Amazon Prime, I think. I think it's Amazon Prime. It's called Jerry Duty. Dude, it is fucking hilarious. It reminds me of the Netflix show with Will Arnett. Murderville, yeah. So, but Murderville's like, they know what's going on. It's unscripted, right? Kind of, but it's scripted, right? This is kind of the same, but like with a little different spin to it. So what this production team did, they sent out an email that they're, hey, we're making a documentary about Jerry Duty. So if anyone wants to volunteer, we're going to be filming how like a real Jerry Duty case, because they agreed to this Jerry Duty case, right? So people have to sign up for it, still like Jerry Duty, like it'll still count as your Jerry Duty and stuff like that. So people signed up for it. And turns out that everybody's in on it. Everyone's an actor, undercover actor, except for one person. And it's all centered around him. And they're like, they're just, even the judge, the bailiffs, the jury members. It is fucking hilarious, dude. And what makes it really funny too is he goes into Jerry Duty, right? Like, it's like he starts off with like 50 people, right? And then they start like, well, what do they do? Start, pushing out the people, the candidates that wouldn't be right. Yeah. And he ends up sitting next to James Marsden, the famous actor, the guy that plays Cyclops in the X-Men movies, the first ones. What else? He's in Enchanted,
Sonic,
Westworld. Yeah. So the guy's like, I was like, hey, I know you from somewhere, right? And he's like, oh yeah, I've been in a couple movies. Like what have I seen you? And then he's like, James Marsden actually was like, well, I've been in like Sonic and stuff like that. The guy's like, I was like, oh, where? He's like, I've never seen that. I heard it was shit. he told him that. And like the very next day, he like, and then they are chit-chatting for a bit, right, with other people, random ass people. But they're all in on it except him. And then he comes in the next day because they both get called back. He's like, hey, James, like, my bad. Like, I just want to let you know, I rented Sonic yesterday because I was just curious. It's a fucking good movie, dude.
Sounds like a nice guy, man.
Yeah, dude, it is crazy. Like, they had a lot of things what they wanted the actors to do, and it was like scripted. Like, hey, try to lean him into this, right? But don't push him to do anything, right? If he says stuff, then fucking go with that script and stuff like that. And he like just fit perfect to a point where you're like, no way, dude. This is fake. He's in on it too, bro. There's no fucking way he is in on it. And then I was convinced that he was in on it until the very end of the episode. They break it down and they explain everything and how it was all about. Dude, overall, dude, it was fucking awesome. It was it was a knee slapper. I want to say knee slapper, it was just a good time, dude. We binged it. I think it was like 8 episodes, 30 minutes each, bro. It was but it was just what we needed after a stressful day of work. Just tune in, bro, and I was just laughing the whole time, dude. Side commentary between me and Jamie. It was hilarious, dude.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool, man. All right. I want to watch it. From that, I would definitely want to see this show.
Dude, it is awesome, man. And trust me, you guys will not hate it at all. Like I don't know anybody that wouldn't like this show. So
all right, cool, man. Do you have anything else that we both haven't watched?
There's some stuff that I'm currently watching. Okay. Season 2 of Winning Time. Just kind of want to shout that out real quick. Amazing. Again, it just follows the Lakers history from the Showtime Lakers from the 80s to the 90s. What's really cool about this season right now is there's a full episode about Larry Bird, because right now it's going into the when Larry Bird and they got their first championship, but also kind of gives a backstory about Larry Bird's life, dude. Like, for example, I didn't know that his dad committed suicide when he was in early college and stuff like that. So and they show you kind of like Magic's growing up, like how he grew up, to like Larry Bird and how he grew up. Like, it's just very interesting, very well written. And you like these characters, man. You like to hate some of them too. So with the way they did it and the way they're writing it, but trying to keep true to the events that happened, fucking awesome, dude. Awesome. Great show. HBO Max. Or, I'm sorry, Max.
Just Max. Jesus.
Just Max. and then we're watching currently Based on a True Story on Peacock.
Based on a true story. Interesting.
That one's interesting too, man. That one's interesting too. That one also kind of reminds me of the Murderville. Kind of.
So it's comedy?
Comedy, thriller, drama. Yeah.
A dramedy.
Yeah, it's the girl from Big Bang Theory. What's her name? I don't know her name.
The blonde one?
Yeah, the blonde one, the main one. Yeah, the one that
also plays Harley Quinn. Oh my god, what is her name?
Yeah, but she's funny in that show. And also Nancy from Stranger Things is in it.
No kidding. Okay.
Yeah. But it's cool, man. If you like this one's especially for Tita, bro. It's kind of about murder podcasts, so it kind of leans into that. Okay, so trust me, you and Gabby will watch. You'll love this. So especially Gabby, I think she will. Right? You said she likes murder podcasts, right?
She does.
True crime podcast. So watch this one, and it's funny too. So
okay, fair enough. Based on Jury Duty are the two that I'm hearing right now.
Jury Duty, Amazon Prime. Based on a True Story, Peacock. Winning Time, Season 2, Max.
Okay. I got a few things that I watched. Most of it, no, I guess they're in different places. First one that I saw was They Cloned Tyrone. I'm going to go ahead and give this movie like a 7.2. It was
7.2, They Cloned Tyrone.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. It was a good time.
Is that on movie theaters?
It's on Netflix. It came out on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Starring John Boyega. It has, Jamie Foxx and the woman who plays Photon in WandaVision and now The Marvels.
Okay. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I don't know her name, but I know who you're talking about.
So it's a very like Get Out kind of feel, like with the storyline and where it leads you to.
Okay.
It has a lot of references to like hood life and how there's a government cycle of like keeping you poor, right? Like there's a cycle. Welfare doesn't actually get you out of welfare a lot of the times. Like it's a cycle in which you can never break out of, especially like with certain groups of people, that it's much more easy to make money the wrong way than it is the right way. and it's hard to like get out of that because everyone around you is just pushing you to do certain things, or you just got to do what you got to do to survive, right?
Right.
It's definitely it goes straight at that concept, and it just tackles it in a very, gosh, I don't know if it's a meta way because I don't know if it's necessarily self-aware, but it gives it like a sci-fi twist, and it's very meta on the ideas, I guess.
Okay.
It's very much about. Uh, there's a line in it that's very much like encapsulating what the movie is trying to fight against, and it's pretty much assimilation is better than annihilation, right? So like a lot of these groups of people assimilate to a certain way of being, and instead of pretty much not surviving in this world, our society has a certain way of doing things, right? And that's kind of part of what they talk about. John Boyega's acting is fantastic. He plays multiple roles because the name should tell you that people be getting cloned. It's cool sci-fi. It's got that Big Brother style plot. It has a lot of style in the movie. The characters feel like comic book characters. They're like out of this world. Like Jamie Foxx is a pimp. Uh, the female character is she's a prostitute. Tyrone, well, not Tyrone actually. This guy's Fontaine. Is a drug dealer, and they have a lot of funny lines that they say with each other and situations that they get into. So I definitely recommend it. I enjoyed watching it, man.
Yeah, I think I now that you mention it, I think I remember seeing a trailer to it. It looked interesting. So put that on the queue.
Putting it on the queue. Yeah, they cloned Tyrone, my friend, on Netflix. So it's not like, I mean, everybody's got Netflix at this point. So it's not like you can't watch it. God, Tiana Paris. I had to get the name. Tiana Paris plays Yo-Yo, the prostitute. Another one that I saw, actually, Tom recommended it. I don't know if I mentioned it before. I finally saw Good Time with Robert Pattinson.
Oh, with his brother, right?
Yes.
Mentally challenged?
Yes, he's mentally challenged.
Yeah.
There's some really good cinematography. Parts of the script are good. The acting is, I mean, Robert Pattinson's acting is very solid.
Awesome, right?
Overall, I think I'd give the movie like a 6.12.
Because it's kind of like towards the end, right? It kind of like falls off a little bit, if I recall.
Nothing fucking happens. It's one of those movies where you're like, nothing fucking happened. Like, yeah, a chain of events occurred, and parts of it feel exciting, and then at the end you're like, this was kind of pointless to watch.
Yeah.
The beginning of the movie tells me how the end is going to be already. The rest of the movie is irrelevant to the outcome. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, acting good.
No, I see what you mean, though. Like, the end, when it kind of just ended, you're just like, oh. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Once the brother gets arrested,
yeah,
and he's on the run, after that point, everything is irrelevant to the outcome of the film. It could, because nothing changes.
Yeah.
There's no change in the story. You already got the climax of the film at the beginning.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm like, yeah, there are great things. Like Robert Pattinson does a fantastic job. And parts of the story are very interesting, especially considering that the guy who plays the brother is the one that wrote it, right? Like, I don't know if he's a writer in general or if this was one of his first scripts, but it has promise. And you could see that people would probably want to work with him more after that. And he came out in Oppenheimer later, so you see that it did lead him somewhere. But I'll move on from that one. I did finish this full season 2.
Did you like it?
I did. I liked it. I thoroughly enjoy the show. I think Julio is a piece of work.
Say piece of shit. Least favorite character.
Yeah, Luis, dude. I love Luis.
Yeah, Luis is the best.
Hilarious.
So you don't like Julio at the end?
I mean, I don't dislike him. None of the characters are completely unlikable. They're all terrible people, right? But
Yeah.
They're not completely unlikable, right? By the end, Julio, like he knows he's a piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So he kind of accepts it. He owns it. He's like, I know
Gotcha.
who I am. At least that, right? Like you said, I'm not a visionary. I just like good coffee.
That's
That was
funny.
great. Well, that whole episode of him needing to have control, and by the end, he's like, "Yeah, this ain't me." I thought there were a lot of interesting, funny episodes that they used, and they're always great at showing the culture. You know what I mean?
There is a character that is famous on TikTok that Jamie and I met. His name's Leo Gonzalez. He's the big dude.
Yeah, he's the friend. He's like, "Let's have fun tonight."
Dude, his TikToks are hilarious. Have you seen his TikToks?
I've seen a few of them. Yeah,
Oh, okay, because he
the
plays that.
phone guy, and he's on a
Yeah,
call.
yeah. He plays that stereotypical. We know those people in our back in our hometown. Like, there's a lot of people who's like, but you like it though, huh? You know, like it's just
There's
the
some of
way
the
he's.
most fun people though, and then there's another comedian that comes out in that. I think in that same episode.
Yeah. Russ. Yeah, there was a bunch of like. It's cool that they're bringing out the comedians into the
A lot of
show.
Hispanic comedian representation for sure. Well, Mexican to be specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, the show, like I said, it brings out the culture, man. They highlight the culture. They got some good music that plays. And there's this song at the very end of the show when Luis is going on a plane that a friend of ours was like, I can't believe you guys have never heard that song before. And I was like, I didn't know this was a thing.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
That's funny. They played that song at the end. That's
Yeah,
funny.
they played that song at the end, and I was like, "Oh man!" Eric from Room 303 told us, he's like, "I thought everybody heard the song."
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, when we didn't. So
never in my life heard. I liked it, but never in my life had I heard that. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this fool, and I'm halfway through Res Dogs season 3 as well.
oh, okay.
They release weekly, so I'll be watching the next episode that comes out. Uh, I'll reserve my rating for that one. I think it's going to be fairly high.
Sounds good.
I mean, it doesn't have the absolute best acting or writing, but it's not about that. So I'm not.
Yeah. It's making fun of itself. I don't know. I kind of cringe when I watch it because I'm like, ugh. Like it's just like, but these are all like Hispanic writers, and like I get it, you know, we're making fun of our stereotype. So it's cool because it's kind of true. Sometimes you're just like,
Oh fuck
like
yeah!
they're overdoing it sometimes, but sometimes it's like, no, they're kind of hitting it right in the dot too sometimes. So
I mean, one of my favorite lines is like, he's like, "See, you don't know because you're not depressed like me." And he's all crying. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up, bro. I could literally hear someone back home saying that shit, like, because you don't know, you're not depressed like me. Like, no, I know what I have. You don't know.
yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny you say that. That's hilarious, dude. One thing I did want to bring up. I'm sorry, I totally forgot about this show, and I would hate myself if I didn't bring it up. Swarm. Saw that on. Was it Peacock or Amazon?
I thought you said Amazon last time. I'm not sure.
I think it was on Amazon. Swarm, but Swarm is it has like it's if you guys ever seen Atlanta, the show Atlanta on Hulu, it's like that, but it's like a darker version to it. It's directed by Childish Gambino. It's fucking amazing. It follows Dominique Fishback. She plays the main character, Dre, and she's obsessed with a famous artist known as Nyjah, who kind of based out of Beyonce, I would say, you know. She was in Transformers Rise of Beast, the Dominique Fishback.
Yeah.
She played that character. Billie Eilish came out in it. I think this was maybe Billie, from what I've known, first acting job, and she did fucking amazing, bro. What happens to her character is crazy. I think I don't want to give too much about this, but pretty much it just shows the obsession of how people get obsessed with certain movie stars, certain artists, and what they're willing to do to get close to them, and how crazy their obsession can get. And that's all I'll say. But it's a thriller. It's comedic. A lot of crazy shit. It has a lot of what the fuck moments. Like, what the fuck? Like, I was not expecting that to go there. What the fuck is going on? man, it was a great show. I have a whole list of top 10 shows already for 2023, which I don't know what where I'm ranking a lot of them, dude, because Swarm's gonna be up there for me, dude. Jerry Duty as well, I thought was fucking great. Like, I think these were all in the eights for me. As far as Jerry Duty goes, Swarm, what else did I talk about? Just a lot of banger shows, man.
It's a banger.
It's a banger, dude. Yeah, I think that's all I talked about so far.
All right, let's jump into Ahsoka episodes 1 through 3.
Talking about some more bangers.
Go ahead, Jason. When it comes to Star Wars, I'm always going to let you take the lead on that. Jason, enlighten us. Tell us about it. Give us some quick connections to Rebels. God damn, is it connected to Rebels?
God damn, yeah, it's super connected. Well, for the listeners that don't know or haven't watched Ahsoka yet, maybe only watch Mandalorian, because I know some people that just watch Mandalorian, right? They're not really into the Star Wars content. But if you are watching the Mandalorian, you do see Ahsoka pop out, right? She helps Grogu but she's looking for someone specific named Thrawn, right? And that's the last time we see Ahsoka in Mandalorian. So it's kind of after that, that's kind of where we are led into with Ahsoka. She ends up running into characters that are in the cartoon show Rebels. We're wondering when are they all going to pop up? They kind of all pop up immediately, almost all of them. But yeah, we're in the time where the Empire has fallen, and you're seeing the New Republic, right? Not the Empire anymore, is starting to kind of settle in. But what happens after a war, right? You kind of have to integrate you're freeing the people, and you kind of have to integrate the people that were kind of loyal, right? Or forced to be loyal to the Empire, still trying to have to migrate them as, it's not their fault, the Empire had a massive hold on these people, and it was like a dictatorship. So they're kind of just freeing them. But some people are still like that. They like that power. And so it kind of just shows how the integration between that is just, it's not easy. Even after war, it's still not easy. And then you have some of these people that are still trying to prevent a war. Harrison Dula, the general, the green lady with the back hair, she was part of the rebels. She is, for you guys who don't know, she is the best pilot in the galaxy. She's known as the best pilot in the galaxy. Yes. Another pilot that was really good, that's probably maybe compared to her, is
Fight her.
Yeah. Is probably yeah, dude, she's better than Han Solo. Yeah, the best pilot prior to that was Anakin.
Oh, so it was never Han.
Who's never Han?
Dang, what a punk ass bitch.
This man, you son of a. Okay, anyways, yeah, so she's still in the mode of hey, we got to make sure we don't start up into another a war, pretty much. She's still in trying to integrate people, and it's starting to create this new republic where there's democracy is back, essentially. Although they do hear that, and they have a gut feeling that Grand Admiral Thrawn, which we haven't been introduced yet, is out there and could be coming back. Grand Admiral Thrawn, also, he was the main villain in the Rebels, this blue guy, evil villain. For you guys who don't know who Grand Admiral Thrawn is, he was the right-hand man to Emperor Palpatine, the only non-human that was an admiral. Little fun fact for you guys there. That's how fucking smart this guy was. He's not a very strong character. He's not strong with the Force or anything like that, but he is probably the most brilliant character. He's always 5 steps ahead of you. So when you think you got a plan and you think you're gonna, he's willing to lose a battle so he can win the war. This is how smart this guy is. He knows when to he'll lose a battle on purpose so he can get to the finish line, right? You're sacrificing a pawn so you can take the bishop, right, or whatever it may be. So that's kind of how he plays. He plays chess, not checkers. So yeah, brilliant mind. So I can't wait to see him in live screen, and just the way he looks. He has the dark red eyes, his blue face, looks evil as shit. So I can't wait to see him on screen. Kind of looks like our boy that popped out in Boba Fett. Wow, Caleb Bane. There you go. But not as scary, the teeth and shit like that. But kind of gives you that eerie, like scary feeling, like, oh, this guy has nothing to fuck with. We also get into Sabine Wren, man. I love Sabine Wren and Rebels. For Sabine Wren, she was actually a Mandalorian from a different clan, not the same clan that our Mandalore Din Djarin's from. They actually take off their helmets and stuff like that too. Not the same clan house from Bo-Katan's house. She's from a completely different one. She ended up leaving her clan and kind of leaving the Mandalorian side of things because she just didn't want any part of that. But from what I remember in Rebels, and correct me if I'm wrong, Luigi, correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, but Sabine Wren was kind of a badass in Rebels, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Fighting-wise, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is my only critic in season 1 and stuff. Like, I get it. Like, fighting a Sith type of person is no easy feat, but she was also a Mandalorian, so she knows how to fight. So
yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, she's not fighting at all like a Mandalorian right now. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, like she's fighting like she's scared. Like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Maybe it's been a while.
Maybe
it's been a hot minute,
Yeah, it just feels like they nerfed her, in my opinion. So
to give you guys context, if you haven't seen the episode, you probably have because you're watching this, but
yeah,
talking about the scene in which she has the map, which she was not supposed to take from Ahsoka, and she's finally unlocked it. Then assassin droids come in, and they're not actually Sith, but they are part of the dark side.
They're not even Inquisitors, right?
Yeah, we're just. I don't know what to call them yet. They said.
I don't even think their lightsabers are fully red. They're like dark orange, right?
Not sure. Well, there's 3 of them, but we only see 2 of them fight her in that instance, right? Or no, just one.
We just see one. Yep, just the girl.
Yeah. They're hunting down that map because they want to create this portal using hyperdrive, right? Hyperdrive, like 6 hyperdrives.
Yeah.
To go to the galaxy that Admiral Thrawn and Ezra Miller were transported to at the end of Rebels.
Because apparently they're in a different galaxy.
Yes.
So in Star Wars, it's all one galaxy, right? So you can still get to different stars by doing hyperdrive. But this thing that they want to create is like you said, a hyperdrive times 10. So you can essentially go to another galaxy super fast and long distances. So that's what they're trying to do because that's where they think Grand Admiral Thrawn and, like you said, Ezra are. They're not looking for Ezra, but they want Grand Admiral Thrawn back.
Shout out to the fight scenes that they had with Ahsoka. I thought the fight scenes they used for her were really solid. She looks good.
Dude, they need her justice, bro.
Yeah, they're doing her justice. And Rosario Dawson doing a great job as Ahsoka, so I'm happy to see that. And, hey, we saw the Purgils, just like we did in Rebels. It just feels like they're really using all of that material and just bringing it to a head right now. So that's cool.
Yeah, so I kind of want to get into details about the Purgils because I told Jamie about it and she was like, huh? I was like, remember you kind of saw like something floating when Grogu was in hyperspace when Din Djarin was asleep in one of the episodes? That was a hint.
Whale with squid.
Yeah, that little whale with squid thing. So they're pretty much hyperspace whales. These Purgils, they're known as Purgils, can actually go up to speeds probably faster than hyperspace, and that's ideally they don't ever slow down like that, but I guess in this one they were like slow down because they're usually going really fast. And
well, it depends on where they are, right? Because in Rebels there was like they always slow down. I think it's like to eat somewhere,
yeah, like something like that.
They stop at to do something.
Yeah,
I know that there's like details there.
Yeah, so and also the fact that we saw Purgils, that means they're really close to find, because the last time we saw Ezra and Thrawn, the Purgils took both of them away, right? The Purgle.
Well, they said that hyperspace ring is in line with the migration patterns of the Purgils towards that galaxy. So,
yeah, so
makes sense.
So yeah, it's tying into everything as far as Rebels. Jamie hasn't seen Rebels, but she's still really enjoying it, so that's good. Me as a Star Wars fan that has seen the Rebels, it just makes it even 10 times better. I think it's fucking awesome. I'm like fucking again. I do that. I do this all the time, but I feel like Leonardo DiCaprio and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood doing his drink pointing. So it's awesome. I'm very happy with it so far, and yeah, dude, it's just been great. Hopefully, they make Sabine stronger. I guess there's got to be a story to make her stronger and stuff.
I
So
think
I'm
they're
happy
doing
with
a
that.
redemption arc for her because if you notice, like she's going back to being Ahsoka's Padawan, so it's
Right.
kind of like building her up. I'm sure by the end she's going to be a badass again. It is just weird though. Like, did she abandon all her other train? It just I need some context.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
like what happened? You're definitely right. Also, I hope we see Zeb again. I know we saw a
I'm at the
piece
end
of
of
him.
Mandalorian.
Yep. And then we saw a little. We seen a little bit of Chopper and kind of his personality, which was awesome. When he was fighting with Harris and Dula, and they're like, they're flying around, and he's like, and like obviously Chopper's talking, but we can't understand what he's saying. But Hera can. He's like, you probably just misplaced it, and then he does this little sound. Is like, I was like, he's like kind of pretty much saying he's like, no, I didn't. He's like, just check under, and then he checked and he's like, he found it. So it's
If
just
you listen to the pattern, the sound patterns, it sounds like words could be put in those exact spots.
yeah, it really does.
Oh, I could see what he was saying there. That makes more sense.
Also, it was really cool. We got to see Hera's kid, Jason, son of Hera and Kanan. I won't really say much about Kanan just because I spoilers.
Too soon?
No, I'm sure we'll get into that. I don't want to.
Listen, man, no offense, Jason, but if someone has not watched Rebels and is listening to this right now, they're either never going to watch it or they have.
It's just like probably one of my favorite storylines ever. And like, if you do decide to watch Rebels, I don't want to ruin it for anyone, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.
All right, so let's. All right, anything else you wanted to add about Ahsoka?
No, I'm like I said, I'm pleased with everyone right now. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I mean that's it for now. Really, like I feel like we kind of covered everything. Unless there's something else that I missed, guys, little things that maybe you guys wanted to point out, let me know. I'm always about Easter eggs. There's always so many, which I can't catch all the time. But if you guys know any, I'd be more than happy to hear about that. So.
All right, I'm gonna close us out with my Blue Beetle review. I know it came out a while back, so I'm gonna make this quicker than before. I'd probably give it a 6.6, 6.7,
6.6.
but it has rewatchability.
Okay.
It has rewatchability. You know what? I'll give it a 6.8 because of its rewatchability. It was a lot of fun to watch. Again, a lot of stuff that it's like La Raza times 10. All the music is music that you would have heard growing up, Jason. Like straight up, everything was recognizable in some way or another. Like you hear so many different types of Hispanic music. Like it's not all the same, like rancheritas or just mariachis
Corridos.
or just that. It's everything. It's pop music. It's that too. Then it's like American style, right? With like Cypress Hill, you hear the rapping too. Like you hear the different types of Hispanic music all throughout the film. It was a lot of fun to watch. The cast obviously is pretty much almost all Latino cast. Has solid special effects. I would say they looked better than the Flash, probably because they used way less of them. The city that it's supposed to be in is El Paso, but they made Palmera City, which is like LA and Miami put together. If I had to place it anywhere,
Okay.
I would say it's a hybrid of those two cities. But they live on El Paso Street as like an homage.
Oh,
The
really?
I mentioned, fantastic. And then, dude, they do some mad Hispanic product placement. I will say that, like, goddamn, capitalism is alive, and it is there for Hispanics in this one. They had like Takis in the background in one of them, like making sure that you could see the Takis. There was a bottle of Donku perfectly placed in front of them at a table at one point, and Donku is like a Puerto Rican rum, so I was like, fucking my people right there. So it was like little things like that, right, where they just went out of their way to show Hispanic culture and like even products. They had a decent bad guy backstory. Susan Sarandon is the antagonist. There's a love interest who's Brazilian, so it's like they really pull in as many Latinos as they can. Uh, the reactions and the acting and just the story overall, I found I'm Hispanic, obviously, so I found it a little more relatable than in other films because they're very Hispanic reactions. Like the way they react to things is like, oh yeah, obviously with a comedic twist in some instances.
Right, right.
It is a family movie. Like if you're going in there thinking like, oh man, this is gonna be like the Batman, you're going to the wrong movie. But it is definitely a lot of fun to watch. So I enjoyed it, man. I had a good time. I think the one I enjoyed the least was the grandma. She just made it a little too campy for me at times, but it was fun. You know, it's the kids enjoy it. Like my daughter found it hilarious when the grandma was holding the gun. I thought it was one of the better depictions of Mexican culture. They even used phrasing that we do, uh, like
Interesting.
"en ánimo," and then when you want somebody to hurry up, like in the car, they're like "Písale, cabrón." Échame aguas, like, hey, look out for me.
Yeah,
Those type of
yeah.
things. They use the actual phrasing that Hispanics
Not
use.
like just, oh, let's just throw in a Spanish word in there like we. Yeah, yeah. I get
Yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah, and they don't play like the same mariachi song that they play in every movie to show that it's Hispanic. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that. It does connect to Ted Cord, who was the original Blue Beetle, I guess,
Oh,
and
cool.
was his whole headquarters and what's going on with him. And there's a teaser at the end that says that he is alive, and I'm thinking the second one is going to deal with them trying to find him. So that'll be interesting to see. I don't want to ruin. There's a big event that happens in the film that changes. I mean, it changes the course of the movie, right? But it hits very well, and that it was pretty solid. I'll say that because I know that you may end up watching this, Jason. So I'm not going to ruin that. This is a fairly new movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I probably will. Maybe. Oh, we got a 3-day weekend coming up. Maybe, but shit, I got a lot of drafts coming up, so maybe not. So
Well, do you mind me ruining it and talking to our listeners about it?
yeah, go ahead. Might as well, man.
So there's a scene. Obviously, the dad is like the backbone of the family. He's always positive. He is the epitome of what every Hispanic has heard growing up. And it's like, he grew up with nothing. He worked in fields. He got every job he could. He did everything for his kids so they could have a better life. And he's just so positive. And whatever his son does, he's just like, ten ánimo, hijo, ten ánimo, ánimo. Right? Like, and you hear that growing up. Like, you hear people tell you those same things, like,
Who
push
plays that?
harder. The dad, he's a famous actor. I know I've seen him before. Gosh, let me.
Isn't George Lopez in this movie?
He is. He plays the uncle. He's
Oh, okay.
he's comedic. He's like the comedic value of the movie for sure. He plays. He has a lot of great hilarious lines. The dad's name is Damian Alcazar, and I'm pretty sure he comes out in a lot of Mexican films. Yeah, yeah, he comes out in a lot of Mexican films. I think this may be one of his only ventures, one of his few ventures into American cinema.
Yeah, yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, yeah. So he plays the dad, and he gets killed at one point. And there's a scene where the grandma's saying like, there's going to be a time to grieve, and we will grieve, but now's not that time. And then later in the movie, he remembers what his dad told him, and he's about to die. And then he sees his dad, and he's like, this was my purpose. I'm happy that I could find my purpose, and it's to meet you here. And it's like kind of like an afterlife type of thing. He's like, to tell you to keep going, that you can do this, right? And you're like, oh man, this is hitting right now, right?
Damn.
And, later in the movie, after they've finished, the grandma's like, okay, now we can grieve, and they cry for the dad. And that's what I wanted to mention this, because if you notice in a bunch of movies, like these main characters die and they never grieve for them, like they just forget. What's going on here? So I'm glad that they brought it back. Like, oh, this is something that they're going to deal with after. So overall, I enjoyed the film. It was a good.
I
It
feel
was.
like Spider-Man No Way Home does a pretty good job at that.
Yeah, they do. They definitely. God, I mean, after May's death, that one's rough. He's just sitting on that rooftop, just gone.
But back to Blue Beetle, Damien Alcazar comes out in Narcos.
Oh, he comes out in Narcos. I haven't seen that.
I feel like a lot of good actors come out of there, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, they picked the good ones. They picked the good ones. All right. I do have a couple shout outs. Their birthdays. Happy birthday, belated. I know it wasn't today, but happy birthday to my brother-in-law, Mike. I love you. You've been a big part of my life, and I hope to continue having you as a big part of my life. And to my cousin Marcos, uh, you again, you've always been there for me, and you're one of the most pure people that I know. So I appreciate you guys. I love you. I hope your birthdays were great.
I have a birthday shout out too, actually. Charlie had her birthday previously. It just happened. So yeah, shout out to her, man. She's in the 6th grade, middle school now. She had a slumber party, birthday party, Taylor Swift themed.
Oh,
There's this company in El Paso, man. She does like slumber party themes, but like whatever you want it. Like if you want a Harry Potter theme, they'll make a Harry Potter theme. But she's like super into Taylor Swift right now, so
yeah.
they did a in her Swift era theme type thing. I don't know. All Swifties will understand what I just meant by saying that, right? So it was cool. I saw like videos and stuff, had a slumber party. So yeah, shout out to her. And yeah, those are my birthday shout outs. Yeah.
All right, sweet. That'll be it for us this week, guys. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week for another episode of Revenge of the Pod. Peace out, guys.